Now, with the new influx of players coming into this game, it's clear now more than ever that we don't have enough videos or explanations on how to mod stuff properly. And I'm sure there's a lot of great ones out there, but I'm still running into players, newer players, that don't know how to mod. So, yesterday I made a video on the order of priority of mods, which I'll link in the description. In this video, I'll be talking about what to think about when modding a weapon. Now, I'm going to use a basic weapon for this. It's going to be the Torid without the incarnate form at all. I'm not going to talk about the incarnate at all, just the base Torid for a base star chart. Now, you can get this at max strength 5, so it's a great weapon for new players, and it's a weapon that most people seem to love because once you get the incarnate form, it's just super overpowered. So, when you come over to your weapon, first thing you got to do is look at the stats it has. It has these base stats with fire rate, magazine reload, and then damage, radio attack. Now, the radio attack only applies to weapons with the radio attack, obviously, and the Torid is basically a grenade launcher, so it does have one. Now, I'm not going to be talking at all about an Exodus mod or an Arcane slot because I'm sure new players won't waste the plat to get those. So, talking strictly about these stuff right here, let's focus firstly on damage. While everything up here is important, such as fire rate, magazine, and reload, damage is the only thing that's really going to set you apart from anything else, and there's no need to even think about radio attack. Just know that you have it, and that's good enough. So first things first, let's look at critical chance. As I mentioned, I won't be using anything new players probably won't have, so no galvanized scope, obviously, no riven, and critical delay here is something new players can get, but I won't be using on the build. So you can get these by doing Orokin vaults, which are easily available by doing the Deimos missions with Orokin keys. You get the Orokin keys from your dojo, but doing the Deimos missions, you can go ahead and farm Orokin vaults. I'll link a video for that in the description as well. But you can just run these with no key at all, because usually there'll be some people running this and you can already piggyback off of them. Or you can go into the recruitment tab and just ask for people to join you for Orokin vaults, and they'll more than likely just join you for that because people love helping in this game. Now, with that being said, what you want to throw on is quite simple. Throw on point strike. Now that is critical chance, but obviously there's something missing here already. We don't have a lot of damage. Toxin 91. To fix that, you could throw on a base damage mod. Now, base damage mods just literally do that. They increase the base damage of your weapon. This is the Serration at max. It gives you 165% base damage, which will then increase our Toxin to 241. Now, the Torid specifically only does Toxin damage. You can change this by adding other status effects to it, which I'll be showing you in a moment. Now, from here with the base damage and critical chance, we need critical damage as well. 2 times is quite nice, but we want more. Vital Sense is a mod that you can get readily at any mission, essentially, while Hammer Shot is not. Hammer Shot takes forever to get, and there's people with 1,000 hours that still don't have it. So to get Vital Sense, you can just pretty much do any mission, and to prove it, let's head over to the Codex here real quick. And in the Codex, head over to the Mods tab in the Universe section, and then type in the mod you want to find. In this case, it is Vital Sense. Now with Vital Sense, you can see all these areas drop it. Every single one of these missions drop it, so if you need to farm it, just run any one of these missions and you'll have a good chance of getting it. Now, the next part we got to think about is our statuses. Now, statuses, you can increase these with Hammer Shot or Galvanized Aptitude. Now, but again, new players won't have these. In fact, older players probably don't even have Hammer Shot. So you can use these 60/60 mods to get both the status effect and status chance, or you can run Rifle Aptitude, which at max rank would give you 9% status chance. If you don't have any of these mods, make sure you check the Codex and find out where you can get these mods from, because they are very, very important to have, especially all of these 60/60 mods. When you think about what you want to make, think about the status effects and what they do. Now, Toxin is good against an armor, but we need something a bit more than just Toxin on this weapon. So let's make Blast. Blast is a very good weapon, especially if you have a radio attack. Blast had an update a year ago or so. So to make Blast, throw on Thermite rounds or Hellfire if you don't have the 60/60 mod, and then put on rim rounds or crowd rounds if you don't have the 60/60 mod, and these would then make blast. Now blast is quite simple. You can read the description here. It deals 3% of base damage after 1.5 seconds as an explosion, and at 10 stacks or death of the enemy, stacks deal the damage simultaneously to the enemies within 5 meters while staggering them. And then those explosions that stagger those enemies also deal a little bit of blast damage to them as well. So it's just a very, very good stats effect, especially for the Torid, which has a radial attack of its own. Now from here, we have Toxin and Blast. Because Toxin is the priority, as I mentioned in my last video, is going to be alone. Now to make something out of Toxin, you can just throw on high voltage. High voltage here will then create blast and corrosive. However, you're going to have to move rim rounds and thermite rounds above into the first row to make blast, because the priority is now more important. Instead, if you had rim rounds and thermite rounds at the bottom, it would create gas and magnetic, because the order of priority would then take high voltage and rim rounds instead of high voltage and Toxin. It's quite weird, but it's pretty simple as well. So just put the effect that you want to create at the top row and the effect that you want to merge with the inherent trait at the bottom row. It's quite simple. Now, with that being said, we now have 2 spots left, and I'm format out, unfortunately, so this is like a bit of a later game build because all the forma. So we now have 2 spots left, and we can do some things with that. Now, first things first, Rifle Elementalist is great with any status effects, so throw on Rifle Elementalist. And now, with that being said, we have some extra damage, 9% more damage from status effects specifically. You can trade out any of the 60/60 mods you don't have with the original version, by the way, should you need it. So for Hellfire, we could just throw on Hellfire instead. It'll go down our status chance, but will increase in damage, so that is quite nice. Or you could do it with primed crowd rounds should you have it, but this is a newer game build, so I doubt anybody's gonna have primed crowd rounds. So the last thing that we can add should be something that would just increase our damage exponentially. Fire rate. Fire rate is very, very important. Vital acceleration is once again Orokin mod, so I'm not going to use it. Instead, you can throw on speed trigger. Speed trigger will give you a lot of fire rate, and you'll be doing just more damage per second, which is obviously fantastic. If you don't want fire rate instead, you can throw on something like split chamber. Split chamber is a very, very good mod, because split chamber gives you multi-shot, and multi-shot means you not only do more damage per shot, but it fires an extra shot without consuming your ammo, and each damage has its own instance to apply critical hits or status effects. So with everything, multi-shot is a very, very good mod. Now you could use this mod to go through the normal star chart. It won't get you through Steel Path. Unfortunately, with Steel Path, you're going to need an Arcane and some other stuff. But I have 2 ready Steel Path builds without a Riven that I can show you right now. This one is my Blast and Toxin build. And these are obviously made with the Incarnate Form in mind. So when you get to Steel Path, make sure you get the Incarnate Forms for the weapons you want. And it has Primary Blight. Primary Blight is a very, very good Arcane, because on Toxin status effect, which the Torid does, you increase your critical damage by 3.6% and your multi-shot by 1.8% for 12 seconds, and it stacks up to 40 times. Now, just insanely overpowered if you do Toxin. And now for the next one, it's a Blast and Corrosive build like my main, but without the Riven. And the Arcane I use is Primary Merciless, which is just a base damage mod essentially. On kill, plus 30% damage for 4 seconds, it stacks up to 12 times, and then plus 30% reload speed. It's essentially just a base damage mod. It's a very, very good Arcane. So honestly, you'll see it a lot, and it's never a bad thing to run it. And if you want my normal build, this is it. This is what I normally use, but honestly, it's not really useful to most people because the Riven is just insanely hard to replicate or even get near, because getting a Riven is just insanely hard. Especially for the Torid, you're going to be wasting thousands of plat. I was lucky I rolled this. Now, with that being said, that is pretty much just about it. So I hope you found this video helpful, and when you think about modding, just think about what the weapon already has, what you can increase, and what it provides. It's very simple to do. And that's just about it. Hope you found this helpful. Until next time.